Once upon a time, in a small kingdom in northern India, a beautiful young queen named Atma gave birth to a son, whom she called Viveka. Auspicious signs accompanied the birth. There was a rainbow, flocks of white doves were sighted, and a lush rainfall sweetened the ripening fields of the kingdom. Little Viveka was loved by all. Around him, however, a silent contagion festered. In the absence of the king, who was away fighting infidels on the northern border, an internecine struggle broke out in the royal household. Finally, as a result of the sinister backroom plotting of several courtiers driven by greed for the throne, the young prince, the sole heir to the throne, was stolen from the nursery and abandoned to the elements, sent floating down the river in a basket to his certain doom. As fate would have it, however, the young child was rescued by a group of very poor peasants and social outcasts who lived in a remote area of the kingdom near the mouth of the river. They reared Viveka as one of their own, sharing with him all they had to give, in a life of grinding poverty and deprivation. The peasants did not reveal to Viveka the mystery surrounding his true origins, and Viveka grew up identifying himself as an outcast, immersed in the life of poverty and hopelessness that he had learned. But something else lived inside Viveka. He had a recurring dream of palaces and lush green fields and a mother's love. Viveka had an enduring and secret fantasy that he had another home, another family. Inside him remained subtle traces of the paradise he had lost. Meanwhile, back at the court, others too were dreaming of him, dreaming and praying that he still lived. On the morning of his 6th birthday, Viveka's mother appeared to him in a dream. She called him by his true name, which he recognized at once. In the early hours of the morning, Viveka awakened in a cold sweat. His mother had called him home and had sent him a vision of the landmarks he should seek on his pilgrimage back to his family. Just before dawn that morning, Viveka set out on a quest for his true home and family, with nothing but the clothes on his back and several days' rations of food. For 7 years, Viveka searched, looking for the landmarks his mother had given to him in the dream. Along the way, he encountered every conceivable obstacle: wild animals, thieves, sorcerers, bands of outlaws, hunger, fear, hallucinations. But as he roamed the mountains and plains of northern India, he also encountered naked, ash-smeared yogis, seers, ascetics in caves, countless holy men and women who shared with him all their yogic wisdom and assisted him in his quest. Among these wandering sadhus, Viveka discovered Rudra, his first important mentor, whom he met as he huddled in a cave during a wild thunderstorm on a mountaintop, and with whom he lived and studied for 1.25 years. With Rudra, Viveka studied the secret practices of yoga and meditation. Through the whispered wisdom he learned from this great sage, Viveka eventually trained himself to enter deep states of concentration, in which his awareness could penetrate the unmanifest realms. In the last days of his apprenticeship, Viveka learned to merge his consciousness with the one transcendent ground of being, Brahman. He mastered the art of transcending time and space, and could send his body anywhere he wished. Eventually, he used his supernormal powers of bilocation to visit his mother and reassure her that he was coming home. Viveka now saw clearly where he had to go. In order to arrive home, he had to cross a final obstacle, a dangerous forest, filled with tigers, vipers, and evil spirits of every sort. Just at the edge of his perilous journey through the forest, at the far edge of the darkest section, Viveka was seriously wounded in an encounter with a tiger spirit. His battered body was dragged from the forest by a wise woman who lived in a small hut in the marketplace of the village, just at the forest's edge. The wise woman was known in the village simply as Mother, and she was to be Viveka's next important mentor. She brought Viveka to her hut, where she tended to him. Over the course of the 1.25 years he spent with Mother, Viveka learned the next stage of yoga. Mother taught him to see God in all beings, and to see the soul in the phenomenal world, even in the tiger who attacked him. Viveka learned to open his heart to himself and to all of life, practicing reverence for the many beings and dedicating himself to the awakening of all beings. Viveka's final lesson in yoga still awaited him, however. Having taught him many of the secrets of life and of his true nature, the wise woman told him that he must now finish his pilgrimage. He must reach home in his physical body, to embrace his real mother, the Queen, and to take up his dharma, his rightful place in the order of things. When Viveka finally entered the doors of the palace, he was greeted with great celebrations. He was told that his father had died during his long war in the north, and that Viveka himself was now the king. At first, he could not comprehend what this meant, and he shrank from his duty. He could not find king anywhere inside himself. Under the patient tutelage of his final teacher, a renowned seer who lived near the palace, and over a period of many months, Viveka was eventually able to see through the final remnants of his mistaken identity. He discovered his true royal nature inside. He knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he was a king. Finally, Viveka assumed the throne, where he ruled wisely and well for many years.